Have you ever felt like there's a part of you that's hidden in the shadows, a side you don't fully understand? Today, we're diving deep into the transformative practice of shadow work, a tool for self-discovery that has roots in ancient traditions and modern psychology. Welcome back to Soul, Tarot, and Witchcraft. In today's video, we'll explore what shadow work is, why it's so important, how it works, and how it ties into various cultures, witchcraft, and paganism. Plus, I'll share when to embrace it and when to tread carefully. What is shadow work? Shadow work is the practice of uncovering and integrating the parts of ourselves that we've suppressed or denied. These can be fears, insecurities, traumas, or even talents and desires we've buried over time. The term shadow comes from Carl Jung, a psychologist who believed that embracing our shadow self leads to wholeness. The shadow self isn't something to fear or shy away from. It's simply the hidden parts of us that we've pushed down or kept in the dark. These parts aren't inherently bad, but they remain unexamined, waiting for us to bring them into the light. Shadow work helps us confront these aspects of ourselves with kindness and understanding, not fear or judgment. So why is this so important? First, it helps us understand ourselves on a deeper level. By diving into our shadow, we can uncover hidden motivations or patterns that may have held us back and break free from cycles that no longer serve us. It's also incredibly healing. When we face these buried parts of ourselves, we create space to heal old wounds and grow into who we're meant to be. Finally, shadow work empowers us. When we accept all parts of ourselves, including the messy or uncomfortable ones, we step into a place of greater confidence and authenticity. How does shadow work actually work? Shadow work is a deeply personal practice that often involves journaling, meditation, or even therapy. It's all about taking a closer look at yourself and what's hiding beneath the surface. First, it starts with awareness. You need to acknowledge that your shadow exists and start noticing the moments when you feel angry, defensive, or uncomfortable. These triggers are like breadcrumbs leading you to your shadow. Next comes reflection. Ask yourself honest questions like, what am I most afraid of in myself? Or, when have I judged others unfairly and why? These prompts help you uncover patterns you might not have noticed before. Once you've reflected, it's time for acceptance. This part is all about self-compassion. Everyone has a shadow. It's not a flaw, it's just a part of being human. Finally, there's integration. Instead of trying to get rid of these shadow aspects, work on accepting and weaving them into your sense of self. For instance, if you've been suppressing anger, find ways to channel it into something constructive, like advocating for a cause you care about. When it comes to shadow work, the best time to dive in is when you feel steady and emotionally ready to explore the deeper truths about yourself. It's a practice that demands a certain level of emotional grounding because it can bring up intense feelings. The ideal time for shadow work might be during a new moon, which is all about introspection and fresh starts. It can also be after a big life event or transition when you feel ready to grow and evolve. On the flip side, it's important to know when to hold off. If you're feeling overwhelmed, depressed, or emotionally fragile, shadow work might feel too heavy to handle, and that's okay. If the process starts to feel like too much, it's perfectly fine to take a step back and pause. Healing isn't a race, it's a journey, and your well-being always comes first. Links to different cultures, paganism, and witchcraft. Shadow work has been around for centuries, deeply rooted in spiritual traditions from all over the world. Let's take a closer look at some of these connections. In ancient Egypt, for instance, there's the practice of weighing the heart against the feather of Ma'at. This symbolic act was all about self-assessment and balancing virtues with faults, a clear parallel to what we aim for in shadow work. Similarly, in Buddhism, meditation practices focus on observing and understanding the mind without judgment, helping practitioners confront their inner selves. Many indigenous traditions also include rituals to confront and release personal shadows as part of their spiritual healing practices. When it comes to paganism and witchcraft, shadow work holds a special place. The crone archetype, for example, represents the wisdom that comes from facing life's darker aspects. So when, often considered the pagan New Year, is a particularly powerful time for shadow work because it's when the veil between worlds is at its thinnest. This makes it an ideal moment to reflect on your inner shadows. And let's not forget the magical practices that support shadow work, like using black candles, obsidian, or mugwort to tap into the subconscious and aid self-reflection. When to stay away? Not every moment is the right time for shadow work, and that's completely okay. Sometimes, it's more important to focus on grounding yourself and prioritizing self-care before diving into deep emotional exploration. If something heavy surfaces, like old trauma, and it feels overwhelming to deal with on your own, that's a good time to reach out for professional support, like a therapist who can guide you through the process safely. A simple shadow work exercise. Let's try a beginner-friendly exercise that can help you start exploring your shadow. Begin by lighting a black or white candle, then find a quiet and safe space where you feel at ease. Take a few deep breaths to center yourself and bring to mind a recent situation that triggered strong emotions in you. As you reflect on this, ask yourself, what does this reveal about me? What lesson can I take from it? Finally, grab a journal and write down your thoughts without any judgment. The goal here is not to analyze or fix yourself, but to simply observe and understand. Shadow work is a powerful tool for self-discovery, but it's not about fixing yourself. It's about embracing who you truly are, light and shadow alike. If you're ready to explore this transformative practice, start small and be gentle with yourself. Let me know in the comments if you've tried shadow work or have any questions. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video to help others on their spiritual journey. Until next time, stay magical and take care of your shadow self.